Hey guys, it's Tarkin coming at you with another game of Total War 3 Kingdoms. 190 expanded. We're playing Liu Chong, but you see the face, the smiling face of the Emperor Xian. Liu Xie reigns in fact and name. He has just had a major personnel shakeup, and, we've been working on the corruption in the realm. We're making a lot more money now from taxation. We're getting that sorted out. And, for maximum effort, Guo Jia is going to say, he's heard of... I forget who it is. There's a woman in the realm with access to all sorts of excellent builders. Her family, the tremendous construction workers. Here we go. She is pledged and responsible. And, she's gonna marry Guo Jia. She's too old for him to have children, but that is what his preference is anyway, right? He's not worried about that. He is a calculating dude, and the Emperor has said, Guo Jia, your role in government is to get rid of corruption. And so he said, okay, I understand. That's what I'll do. And we got, it's like the sorting is deeply frustrating, right? It goes like when you get them or something-ish. Anyway, there we go. And now with this marriage, this is actually going to kickstart us very big, right? Because now, I guess next turn it'll happen. Yeah, their effects aren't on there yet, I don't think. Alright, so she can... That's right, she's a sentinel with the commander tree, which is fascinating. The Emperor's other wife. It's a problem, not much of one. Luo Jun gets running speed and... No, we'll get speed and... movement, and here we'll take flaming shot in there on Ding Yi, who is the prime minister, the chancellor, but we what a beautiful map, right? I mean, it's okay. Now, is there any movement to be done down here? No. Sun Ce might move up a bit, but here on this front, this is where we are. Yep, and they're bankrupt right now, which when you see that, that's what you want, right? But while vassalizing him would be, kind of okay, he's an imperial relative, and he, attacked us, and he should have come hat in hand long ago. So we are going to take his hat. We're going to snatch it right off of him. Good evening, Luke. We are going to take his hat away. He will be running around hatless. It'll be an embarrassment. Not really. We're, yeah, he's been... It's been a problem for a while. And plus, he just, attacked us when... I mean, there would never be a reason to, but, there was no reason to, right? And then Luo Jun, after going in, defeats an assassin hired by Liu Zhang. People are always trying to kill our boys. Just goes to show that we don't know where Yuan Shu ended up. Yeah, and here we just want to wait for one turn, because it's going to save us a whole turn by waiting for a turn. Mostly vested loads, indeed. And plus, you know, it's not... What kind of message does it send if we just, like... Look, it's one thing to pardon dudes, but these are imperial relatives who absolutely should have known better, right? Like, this is not a legitimacy question, you know, like, there's absolutely no excuse. Just like with Liu Biao, only slightly more of an excuse for Liu Zhang just because he lived further away. Liu Biao, like, that one hurt, right? That one stung. And, of course, getting to deal with him in the north, because he's still up here somewhere. Yeah, hanging out with the faction leader there. Clearly trying to get an alliance with the Steppes to come down. Who knows what he's promised them. Said I'd be rarely touched either way. Indeed, you know, they are getting strong. Strongest of everyone that's not us. Some of these armies are Kongrongs, though, right? And then the Yubeis, it's, they really don't... It's Wei that doesn't have much up there. Although they do have some people in the middle of our lands a bit. But, of course, he won't be able to roll up this stuff, although he might take a lot of this. But, of course, we do have our, you know, we've got our granaries and our garrisons on the border. Yeah. Cao Cao's flag was over it, so it looked like he had a lot of stuff there, but it's mostly Kongrong, I think, yeah. You know, it's... Mechanically, it's like, oh no, our vassals are doing so well, but, you know, like... We wouldn't be that displeased. Although, Cao Cao is, you know... We haven't forgotten everything we know about him. Just because he's being a bro. Alright, we need to do some assignments. Well, obviously, peasantry, yeah, you know, Tao Ying will get to that. Suitable for his role as Excellency to be doing it in the capital, you know, and then we will get this guy rolling on it here. Get him, get her. Why did I think get him on Persuade the Gentry so we can keep the taxes high with the faction support. The organ corruption, you know, it's going. I fear it may take some time, but we, you know, Guo Jia has married Guanggan, and so next season we're expecting, you know, a big boost. Because that'll reduce our construction time by 2 turns, and that in conjunction with some other stuff will really churn it in. But really, you know, getting down to some money from it is fine enough. Alright, do we have any desirable spies? Not really, you know, we've got plenty of employees right now. Alright, so on this front, we move forward a little bit, and then so this is still the season of the turn. This is the spring where we reshaped everything, where we reshook it, where we had the shakeups. Yeah, I mean, active. I don't think so. We did have a peace treaty just like a couple of seasons ago which matters not so much. Oh, we forgot to move Lu Bu up to the silks. There's only one thing I want to see from you, Yuan Shao. Yuan Shao will not be going. Oh no, absolutely not. No, ideally, Xian, yeah. Xian, yes, the wizard. No, the plan was never for them to go with him. Xian, Xian. I say, helpfully spelling English letters that may or may not translate to the sounds. Anyway, but you, having heard me spell it, know exactly the name that I meant to say. The one who's got the Emperor's name. Unless it's a different character, I don't know. Anyway, I've been doing tremendous amounts of brainstorming about this. I really think I'm going to do, like, semi-high effort stuff for it. I might. So lately I've been like, alright, so one of the characters has to be a poet, which means I gotta write a bunch of poetry, but it needs to be legit. So I need to, like, get a whole bunch of characters and do, like, 4-character stuff, and then use my English poetry skills, meager though they are, to fill it out. And I could have, like, people speaking in epigrams and stuff, and have little sayings, and I'm like, ooh, that would be fun. Because I am, as I've related before, a bad poet. But if you're not, like, presenting it as poetry, having some bad poetry involved will be fine. And I was like, Han Empire, that's the Han Empire, the personal holding, you know, that's like the cottage out in the beautiful mountains, right? That's not us. But, you know, I like storytelling and stuff, so I, you know, if I ever do even a little bit, Huchar becomes cheerful and Lufun becomes cheerful. We get the stone archer and the noisy cricket. Every time I see that item, I get cheered up a little bit. Not that I was sad, I wasn't. I feel fine. I took a nice nap today. I did this position at work that I don't normally do by myself. And I did well, I think, you know, but it was very hot. I mean, it was an average amount of hot. The position is very hot. It's in front of a fire, you know. And I got home and I was pleased to lay in bed and listen to some histories of the Yellow River and how, you know, the various rivers in China, which was absolutely riveting stuff and made me wish I knew more about everything. Letting the eBay keep Dong the next river defense easy. Yep. Isn't it? It's so interesting because, and he's got marshes all the way up here, and if he lands over here, it's the pass. Like, that's not gonna work. And this is all impassable, of course. So, is he gonna try to, like, attack the pass, which will get reinforced from, like, you know, the army here and the people inside of it? Indeed. And, hey, look at that! Some fool is on the wrong side of the river! Chen Chao, Liu Xie, and Yuan. We're gonna save it real quick. Aha! Oh, it's gonna be a brawl. They're going to be reinforcing from the other side of the river here. Well, fortunately, there will be plenty of us here to fight against them. And of course, we'll want to... It's like this ambush is sure working here. Alright, he has the reinforcement range. Be a 3v3. Awesome brawl. Be good if we could still choose. Yeah, indeed. Unite them. Because, like, soon enough we're going to have to send these guys off. But, of course, you know, one more amazing battle where we defeat the united forces here. And then it'll be a better argument, too. Because now their renown will have been established in numerous battles with the ear of Lady Hu and her happiness as well, you know. And she is perhaps the most influential political force in the kingdom. For all that people suspect her of things, she just keeps on getting more trustworthy, dutiful, and modest. Moreover, you know, given that she's never been mean to anybody, it's just that her husband doesn't like her, right? And all of his friends don't like her, but you know who also doesn't get along with all of her husband's friends? The Emperor. So for his whole life he's been hearing snippets of this, and she's just like the nicest lady. And hanging out with all of his new friends, and of course Liu Chong's far away. And so when she suggests, helpfully, that they can go, no. It's like, I wanted her to be more of a schemer, but it's just not working out that way. Why'd they have to go and name the kid Liu Bong? It's so funny. Nobody would do that. Here we go. 9,200 on our side. And, you know, a mere 7,000 on theirs. We will obviously multiply these numbers by 10 for the Chronicle. And yeah. Her consequences could be the naivete and trusting, because again, what's going to be the end result of sending all these tribespeople who like each other off into the north and supplanting the power base there? Who's going to watch them after they're there? Obviously, they'll want and deserve a reward afterward. And she is, after all, you know, a trusting sort, and very trustworthy as well. And of course, the worst things to do to trick honest people is just be nice to them for a decade. Yep. The fire's coming from inside the house, right? Because now we've gotten all the most powerful representatives of all the tribes together. They've all made friends with each other, and then we're sending them into their historical power base, outfitted with golden armor, and they, with an intimate knowledge of how things are operating here, with the questionable nature of the Emperor's analytical abilities, with the superstitious nature, with the whole river thing in the first place, because even if it's been uncursed once, that doesn't mean they can't make them think it's cursed again. What if there was a flood? Thought the administration, indeed. And the way of the crossbow, you know, the enthusiasm for the crossbow, you know, because as soon as they're like, oh man, now I've seen crossbows on horseback, this is a sick move. You can carry shields with them too. We're learning a lot. Speed running the downfall. Alright, speaking of the downfall, here we have another great setup where all their reinforcements are coming from this side. I think what we'll want to do is go deep set here. Maybe really deep set here, right? Just far back. Counteract these fools. Royal Guard in the scrub. Yeah, that's fine. We don't need to protect these guys too much. Just keep the Wuhan Lancers here, because someone's going to show up and they'll be able to stab the face off of them, right? Yeah, the defenders back here with the unit of the G. Because whatever comes over here, we should be able to back this up, and then we'll try to engage in the center. Of course, we've got horse archery and crossbow archery, and we're not going to lose a duel with Zhurong this time, that old fool. Gives 3 good generations forward. Yep. Same as Chinese, the Mongols, show the routes, united against the common enemy. Centuries, the Northern tribes being inconsequential. Years are very years. Indeed. You know, because, as you point out, a lot can change in a little bit of time. There was a paper on it, I read it forever ago. But basically, it argues for the tribes coming, like, tribes in general coming together in times of, like, great struggle, right? So it's not like things got really good for the northern tribes, so now all of a sudden they all banded together and decided to invade. You know, it's more like things were bad for them for a while, and then, you know, from that rises the continuous desire to go and rob people. Or, you know, to stop getting shaken down by the likes of Song Xian, depending on how you're looking at it. Because it's really easy to stop worrying about people when they haven't done anything to you lately. Moreover, it's nice to forgive, right? The Zhanbei showing up here on this front, and then Liu Xie gets to come in. Very nice. And of course, he's anxious to have his new cataphracts on point, right? This guy wants to duel Yalu. I think she's gonna beat the brakes off of him. I'm like, she's just got a regular weapon. My girl's got tenacity. I'm not in the slightest bit worried about her. Let's shoot this guy. Bum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum. Like, y'all want to duel somebody, you can duel her. And here, we're getting shot up a little bit. That's okay. We're just going to come in here. It's like, I'm not in the slightest bit worried about my girl. He's a vanguard. He doesn't even have very good armor, right? Yeah, oh, he's just like a dude. This is just like a dude. Da Yuan, you're coming up trying to challenge Yalu? My girl? Psh. Never should have come here. Alright, this guy's got a bow. Maybe he'll duel Yalu, right? What we want to do here is get on the Raider Cav this way. And then we've got actual archers shooting back at us. Yalu emerges victorious and, you know, barely changed for the ordeal. Oh, you want to duel me? Yeah, very well, I accept. I don't need to know anything about y'all. Let's go get her a mend anyway, though. I don't need to know anything about y'all. My girl Yalu's got you down. We're gonna shoot the strategist. No, we're gonna shoot this guy. He's got a bow. Moreover, he's a vanguard. We're just gonna go up the gut with Ruju and get him to heal. This little engagement on the veteran lance cavalry is excellent. Look at him go down to the outrageous arrows. We're gonna charge in here if they don't flee. We're gonna hit right up the center here. We're just gonna cheat a little bit, it's fine. Nothing like a juice tenacity of steel, right? And she's just got like a regular weapon, but there we go. Get the Zhanbei back here. And then bust on up this way. Oh, wow. Okay, so she was getting shot as well. The lady who gets rather shot up there. Feels bad. Might have been a tower for all I know, but let's get on to these fools. Yeah, she's having a bad time. Let's get her back to the artillery. Hit the flames here. Get on him here. Oh goodness, they got him. But we're just gonna charge him here and hope that the crossbows work out. Run forward up this way. And here, Liu Xie doing great. His heavy cavalry doing wonderfully. Time to pull back a bit. The Chen Peacekeepers can, of course, just absorb this fire, but these Chen Peacekeepers should roll back. And the Zhanbei over here do okay, you know, they would have done just fine if I didn't let them get jumped on. But hey, you know, they actually get rid of this flank pretty well. And I'm not going to say I'm ashamed of myself here, because I actually think we've been doing pretty solid micro thus far. We're going to drop a vertiginous quake upon them there. It's going to be very amp. We're just going to get this heal here so that we can get anything going on. These spear guards, not long for the battlefield. Heavy Chu infantry here. Let's get to them. Now it's time to abandon this position. Not this flank of it, though. We're going to push this flank up to the right. Chasing those Raider Cav off, which is, after all, not a terrible way to spend our time. And then here. Up this way. My girl doing so good. And then, of course, over on this front, we can do more work there. Engagement there is fine. Looks like we are not going to get these Royal Guard back, but hey, what are you going to do? We're going to meet them in the river. That's what we're going to do. Now, you might think, why would you do that? We're not actually going to do it. We're just going to shoot at these. No, that was bad. All right. Turning around and fighting these guys was fine, though. These guys need to keep going. And on this front, the armored archers there doing great. Pull in here. And we're just going to beat this dude down now. We are going to get off of our horse and say, we don't need a horse to beat you up. I've never said this before, but if only I had hamstring. Alright, we're going to have to get back on the horse. If only we had hamstring, right? Never in my life did I think I would utter those words. Liu Xie having a party. Hit a roar right here. And then get on this side, because this is a bad engagement. Here, we're getting them right where we want them, though. As we charge in here and here. I'm playing so good. I mean, sure, we actually don't need to be, but I am. Yuan Tan, you want to go? Yeah, very well, I accept. Oh, this dude's here. Well, we can push through on this side. I think she might just win anyway, right? Tenacity is busted good. And there, we get on him there. The Xiangnus have shields and missile resist, but if we just get him turning the wrong way, then that won't matter over much. And she would have won without the mending, of course. Our beautiful, precious girl. Oh, man, she's so good. I love a Vanguard anyway, right? And a Vanguard with tenacity, what is not to like? We need to jump in here on the Sabre infantry. We're going to keep on firing here at these Cav, because I think their shields are not working. Yeah, they've got their shoulders turned the wrong way. They still have missile resistance, but hey, and then these will provide cover there. And on this front, we're just going to charge in here. Alright, we're going to hit the Quake, and that will let us push out this way, maybe. I sort of lost track of him for a bit, but he's fine. You know, he heals. He'll be okay. The Poacher gets beat down. Sorry, Ruju, you know, you poach one herd of cattle, and they call you a poacher. No, that's not poaching, that's rustling. But here, with the sick flames in a rear charge, these Vanguard Spears are going to get crouched. Glorious stuff. I'm playing so good, it doesn't even matter that I outnumber them, right? We probably would have had an easier fight if it was a 1v1. Or, I mean, not a 1v1, a 2v3, because then we would have been all on the same deployment. But this is more fun, and frankly, is awesome. Speaking of, time to bring in more cavalry. These cavalry reserves, having been entirely fresh this whole time, will be great. And this guy, you know, we're actually almost out of ammo on our trebuchets, shockingly. But that's having a good... good setup there. And the defenders go to spear wall, and somehow we get caught up in it. I'm like, please, how? It's alright. The spear guards get a sick rear charge on them, so that'll, you know, show them, or whatever. Hey, sometimes reinforcements are going to get caught a little bit, okay? Bum ba da ba da dum ba da ba da dum bum 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 bum. Chong doing here? Having a fun time. Oh, he would be a D tribesman then, right? Because he's got the same ability, so that'll make our dude want to go and brawl. Okay, yeah, good news, their cavalry caught up with us. But good news, actually, is our crossbows are in a good spot here. You know, so the one unit of crossbows we have on the field is doing fine. And these crossbows are in a good spot, too. We're just going to try to pull in here. Time to keep the peace by charging into the muck and the mire. Oh, this crossfire from the Royal Guard here is awesome. We shouldn't do that. She should do that. And my girl just flexing on everybody. She says, how many duels can you win in a day? Is there like a record somebody has set? Xu Huang is going to be jealous when he hears about this. But, you know, gratified that he is doing his part. You know, he's not that glory hungry, but he does love glory, right? And with a sick frontal charge into not brace spears, just guys that were in, you know, looking at him, we get a great hit there, and then we'll be able to fire in this way. And of course, Royal Guard are very good at trading with others. There we go. And of course, Yalu is amazing. She's probably going to heal off of this duel, my girl. All right, they're out of ammo. Time for them to get out of here. Future diehard warriors are also quite beat up. Yalu has emerged victorious, surprising everyone. These Qin Royal Guard, the reinforcement Royal Guard, 230 kills on one, 250 kills on the other one. Man, I'm playing so good. Of course, it helps that we've been on this map before, and that I don't have to worry about losses because I know that we're strong. You know, maybe we're not doing that good. Maybe we just have a lot of troops. See a Dien Wuhan on their side too. Exactly. See, like somebody is going to be taking charge of what's going on the steppes, and you know, could be us. Su Li, the champion, is here. His whole army is, of course, of the hardened iron shell. The turtle, they call him. He is turtly enough for the Turtle Club. Liu Xie is beat up. You know, is it time for them to take off from the field? No. That's not the way our guys operate. You wanna duel somebody, bro? Wanna scrap? I'm just afraid that Yalu won't leave enough of you to send home to your parents. And that'll be sad, Xijin, that'll be sad. But remember that y'all are acting a fool here trying to come across this river. We're not scared to be on the bank of the river we're on. We just can't cross it. See, Yuan Shao doesn't understand that about us, right? Like, he thinks that we're all afraid of the river. It's only the Emperor that's afraid of the river. And our perfect girl, emerging victorious again. What a brawl, what a champion. Amazing. And of course, this performance from Yalu is going to send absolute shockwaves through their Di Wuhan alliance. And like, everybody is going to hear about this, right? This is a battle with 100,000 people where Yalu won duel after duel after duel after duel. See, it doesn't even need to be superstition that we don't cross it. No. Maybe the Emperor has the superstition and nobody... The Emperor does have the superstition, but, you know, we've given it to him. But, like, Truman showed it, essentially, since we're the showrunner. Oh no. I'm Truman showing all these poor people. They'll get better. Anyway, they have these reinforcements here on the edge, which are free pickings. Full unit of Azure Dragons here, and we're just gonna be rolling over them. Of course, we don't need to do this for, like, a... We have to do this because we need to fight these armies or a replen sort of thing. No, like, they are torched. But, hey, the 50-foot mustache shows up late for the party, my man. They went off our colony. Why wouldn't they come to us? Exactly, exactly. Save the replay. But yes, capture or and execute to elevate him, because she just threw a very strong claim out that she should be charged. Moreover, her daughter is an imperial relative. She is a very prestigious one. Sure, she got a divorce, but the kid's still there, you know. And moreover, their child would have grown up at court the entire time. Because she's like 17 now. Guanjing, everybody gets one. Tao Ying, everybody gets one. Xijin, you know, you fought bravely. Or like, you could fight for a real army. And, you know, an absolutely crushing defeat for the forces of Song. But it looks like the leader of the Wuhan has escaped across the river there. The leader of 5,000. And we'll get closer to the reign of ballistas. She gets to level 5. A very important level gets our biting gale. Oh, I never even used the bellow. I was just looking at it as roar. I totally forgot she had the 50% armor thing on there. She could have been winning all these duels by so much more. 5,000 tribes, not 5,000 people. 5,000 clans. Got it, got it. I'm reading it now, yeah. They had more. It's some of the other ones that had a little less, right? The Chong didn't have like that many. Elite long spear warriors, fun. The deep response. Okay. Sort of. All right. So all of these fools are, of course, bankrupt. Lady Zhurong is here. Mingyo's looking fabulous. Okay, okay. Yes, we get the plateau here in white because you can't see up there. Oof. Well, you know, I should have anticipated that. Anyway, that's a rough one. The follow-up put me on that other side of the river, which is fine. It's still in our area, and, you know, it's just, you know, I should have anticipated that's where they would run to.
只有稳固发展，人们才会交口称赞。
Here to persuade the gentry here.
唯有胜利方能开创未来。
This guy's like definitely a spy. You can tell by the way he is. All right, glorious victory.
扫清六合。
养兵千日，用兵一时。
Liu Xie hits the follow-up. Sun Bin gets to show up for it too. 6-spin move.
乱军终于得以平息。讨平乱贼，澄清四海。
All right, time to save. Any spies? Alright, now it is time to build things. We have a ton of money. We can afford to build, like, even granaries now. I mean, probably. Buildings aren't that expensive anymore. Priority is corruption. And then the Buddha's just gonna roll up here and be like, "Oh, what's up, Shang? You rang? You're here." Speaking of, I totally want to give Dongbai Storm's Breath. I love the idea that she just, like, shouts withering abuse at somebody with the force of a bolt that does 40k damage, and then that she has a cool bow too. Nobody's stopping me. I wanted to do it in public. It's bound to her forever. It cannot be swapped. She is my successful girl. I love talking about it. Everybody knows that about me. She's so fun. Because of course they're gonna go on this expedition, right? There's our tie-in there. At least part of the way. Because they can't go back home. But, or rather, home. They're from up here, right? Ish. You know, their families and stuff are. But, meaning that they're not allowed to come into the Empire proper. You know, they're never allowed to come within sight of Chang'an again. It's like, a partial exile. They've just got to stay up here and ride horses, which is, after all, not that bad. And it's not specifically that it's been a legal edict, it's just that it would be a terrible idea for their personal safety to do it, right? Rose from Liu Xie, right. We just need to conquer all of this. How do we do it, right? How do we do it? I think the key is adequate preparation. You know, if I've learned one thing about Chinese history, I haven't. I've learned like 3. It's that it's always a really good idea to haphazardly send a whole lot of troops to the north when you don't really know exactly what you'll face or what you'll do once you're there. Now, generally, they didn't do it, like, for a wizard, and that's why I think that our plan is going to be very good, actually, right? Because obviously, if we were trying to do this and we didn't have a wizard, I mean, that's just foolish, right? It sounds silly. That would never work. But with a wizard, now there's a very good reason to go. Single turn upgrade. Single turn upgrade. Alright, so you get -5 turns for settlement admin there, and then 2 from the bonus, so, like, even going to... Yeah, it'll only be 5 turns to go from level 9 to level 10 in the Imperial City. Pretty good. Population plus bonuses, right? 7 turns reduction is what you get from the combo there. You know, I've never ever had high pop before in this whole, like, you know, 500 hours of play in 3 Kingdoms. It's nice.
Daren, 有何贵干？保持镇定。明智的决定。
随时准备应战。大人，有何贵干？
And, you know, she can send him home with her compliments and her recommendations, which is funny too, right? Because these events are happening independently of each other. It's only us that are involved. So Lady Hu has got her thing going. I always call her Lady Du because that's the other lady that wears yellow who's actually real. Southern weathers make horses, indeed. So she's got her thing going on with these tribes. And then Liu Xie's got her thing going on with Yufalo. Neither one of them really are aware that the other people are hanging out so much. How could they be? They've been doing big hero stuff, you know, and for all that fighting Yuan Shao's armies here is super impressive, the Empress is the Empress after all, and the Sun family is you know, an ancient enemy. And And I guess they're out of supplies here. Because I would think that they couldn't be so bankrupt at this point that their family estates wouldn't pay for one army with the faction buff that they would get and stuff.
潮起潮落，足以磨平巨石。正在行进。
Ancient enemy, we've been at war with Huntsman. Indeed. No, I mean, we've been at war with Sun for a bit. Cause they attacked us over when we hadn't even taken all of this yet, right? We were dealing with Yuan Shu. And furthermore, they're the ones who have the Imperial Seal, which does mean that this whole time, for 22 years, they've been an agent of our enemies. So I don't think, Ancient's putting it a bit strongly. Our longtime enemy, Ancient does make it seem like we fought him like, the Parthians. No Mao. Master of the Malleys. Is this guy related to the people from like 40 years earlier with all the empresses there and that whole family? Do you know off the top of your head? I'll look it up later. Because one of them was called Do Miao, I think. He's the deity guy. I see. But I didn't know what became of them. I'm not to that point in the video yet. Actually, I bet I don't want to smile. I bet I do know what happens though. Without knowing it all. I mean, it's no smiling matter. I assume I'm right. Like, yeah, why don't I grin and then say what I'm thinking? No, let's not. let's not put a smile on our face about it. Tomorrow rebelled against Cao Cao and got obliterated. Okay. Yeah, whatever the clan was that had the empresses and stuff in like 150 in that time with Xiongli, that whole era. So there's a bunch of them, but most of the time when people get engaged in imperial politics to that degree, there's a reason you don't see very much more of their last name afterward. Well, surname, first name, the clan name. I call it a last name. I don't mean the last name. That's their name. Probably unrelated, yeah. I'd imagine so too if this guy's like a D person, because these folks, at least as far as the videos presented them, were like pretty connected, right? They were pretty powerful and influential in Han politics. Alright. The summer goes on, and Lufan makes contact here. He's running along with Yang Feng, who will be pleased, to say hello to the Empress. Fuluhan's down here, and the Empress is going to be like, what are you doing? I thought we were getting all the band together and retaking the north. Shu Yi. Wonder where you're from. You're working for me now. You're a level 4. You're a level 4 generic champion. That's like my favorite kind of person. I love a champion. Ballistic rain. Wow. Oh, because of the... I was like 60 from the unit transfer. I almost never combine armies that way. I almost always just rotated in, but very punishing. We're going to send Karen to counteract corruption here. And Liu Xie has gone off to his home village. Satisfied with the job well done, and a little apprehensive about the future, but just very pleased to still be kicking all the same, right? It's like, we don't need to roll Filion and corrupt on Zhu Rong either. You know, he's old. He can go home too. Good thing you're bandits, right? Alright, on this front we can... We're gonna get a whole lot of prestige from this. That'll be useful. But my brainstorming for the Chronicle, right, with Taishitsi losing his job, is that he gets told that he's being removed from his position as Excellency and stuff, you know, and they even talk to him about the sword from Liu Biao that he's got, and he, you know, tries to explain that he wasn't trying to be weird, the Celestial Sword, you know, he's just like, you know, he's carrying it, and the Empress told him, so then he's just like, okay, and they're like, alright, yeah, you know, leave the sword, you can leave. And then as he goes and leaves the gate, and like he takes like one step outside of it, and his name rings out, and he's told that the Emperor wants to see him, and then he goes back in, certain that he's going to be slain, right? And then the Emperor acts like the previous conversation never happened at all, told him what a good job he did as an administrator, and sends him off to Changsha to be an independent vassal lord. And I think that'll be fun. I think that'll be a fun scene. I like that version of it. Peace. You are a cunning diplomat. Sounds like something to do, right? And it makes it unclear if he was doing it to be, like, traumatic, or, like, if he thought it was funny, or if he just thought, like, philosophically that you shouldn't punish someone and then reward them at the same time, and a separate audience, you know, is a separate audience. And I couldn't figure which angle I wanted to go with it, but I figured it'd be great. Oh my god. Do you see? Oh my god, a daughter's been born, but look what name they picked out. Liu Xie, you troll. Liu Xie, you beautiful girl. How could you? Oh, so she named her daughter Liu Zhuge, who... So, Zhuge Pian was supposed to be the Emperor's wife, and she's now sort of like the chief concubine, because Liu Xie showed up onto the scene, so apparently now... You need to abandon him as the heir, you mean? And to make Liu Bang the heir. Might upset other characters. But only those deemed worthy shall be considered successors to the ruling hand. And what a worthy baby he is. Indeed. For all that the Empress is like running around and acting like a real person, you know, it's still tradition. Alright, and now we have a severe shortage of supplies. I was hoping to get that fight to get some more supplies. But now that the Sun family are nowhere to be seen in the south, it's time for us to go to the last place that they have been seen. Unless we can't find them there. Lufan's force here can... Alright, because Liu Xie's just gonna jump over this way. Anyway, we were very far from anywhere where we could have gotten military supplies, because you don't, like, get them from your vassals or whatever. Vassals' lands. So we just had to do that, because we were, it was gonna be fine, but it just got tanked. Sun Jin's destroyed, and she still does center quest. Troops can deserve little choice. She bans the army. Indeed, indeed. Because, you know, you're looking at it, and, well, they came here to fight Sun, and we won. And the Emperor is given over the stewardship of the lands to the local warlords, so why are we still putting out brush fires? They can handle their business, right? You really think Taishitsi can't stand up to the fools here?
朋友，别来无恙。
Speaking of, we need to... send him a chest of gold to,
从长远看，这对你我都十分有利。
you know, help him out. Give him a little discount plus some to set himself up there. Maybe find himself a wife, you know.
冷静。
The Emperor's like, trust me, nothing goes wrong from finding a wife.
沟通有误。
Ask anybody who's ever been married. I'm just playing. It's really only a problem if you're running the world. Ten melee evasion for melee infantry faction-wide. You love to see it. Maybe I'll play turbans next. It'll give me excuse to read a bunch of Taoism stuff. As if I don't regularly do that kind of thing. Yes, an excuse. When you first won an expanded Chong campaign, you were able to capture and recruit him. Oh, that's awesome. Any campaign where you get a yellow turban that's not yellow turbans is just so cool, in my opinion. Because their abilities synergize so well with not their abilities. Coming across Liu Zhang's battered and beleaguered troops far in the forests of Shu. We offer them a chance to surrender, which they refuse. It says he won a duel with Liu Chong. That's outrageous. That didn't happen. Liu Ting, we will not off you because, you know, maybe he's your dad or something, but...
We shouldn't
have to have this talk again, girl. Gotta get right.
准备远征。振作起来，大步向前。
Liu Chong. What a champion you are. 71 years old. You hate to even notice it, right? You hate to notice it. Say veterans aren't very good, at least compared to scholars and healers. So you said, like, the scholars used to be, like, way too good, and they had to, like, change the way the swinging worked or whatever. Alright, and then here we can... go Imperial City here. Yeah, why not? No reason why not. Let me go food, food, food. We can make everything because we're so awesome. Alright, good news. We have spent all of our money again, just as planned. Do we need a mustering fields here anymore? No, absolutely not. Han Xian's class. Why did I think he was a scholar? Oh, this one would be like, or if it was Yellow Turban. I'm like, why is he not showing up? He's here somewhere. Oh, Chogo.
说话小心点。
That's right, this army is gonna need to deal with that. After all, he's come a long way. And, you know, manually doing the battle. Raise that, of course, too big. Strategist, yeah, because it does render it as blue for us. I think the icon is just supposed to be Yellow Turban-ish on one side and then, like, you know, all the generals-ish on the other, but...
下执于地，上参于天。这些贼兵人人得耳，让他们死得体面一些，谨遵命令。
But these people are invisible, and that makes them very suspect, right? So we execute. Plus, they came from a really far way away. You know, they don't really, shouldn't have been there. See where was Simon?
真是浪费时间。
No. You know, he might be coming across the river here for all we know. And in fact, probably is. Oh yeah, we're broke. Well, we can still get somebody here. We've got very cheap redeployment costs now. Well, you know who can solve a
绝不
problem.
动摇。
心怀智略，拿起武器。
召集商贾，我要视察一下他们的货物。
You know, this anti-corruption stuff, because the initial reforms have been very successful, of course, but we haven't had any follow-up on them. But he's telling the Emperor we just got to give it a couple more years. It better work. We got a couple more anti-corruption things here. Can we? Yes. You know, it does lower satisfaction, but we just have to balance the anti-corruption measures with my desire to not have corruption. You basically know if we're rolling one because the place makes a lot of money. Public order is fine in most of the place, you know, because the looters are there. We'll have to upgrade their city size. We can't drop the garrisons. The garrisons are important for public order, after all. And moreover, they're important because Cao Cao's right here. Two central Tao. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, but we can hit 7 there. I was really just trying to get food so we could upgrade the city's sizes.
正气如火，熊熊不息，前进！原地候命，众将听令。新芽结花，五谷丰登，百姓可恶。
And Liu Bei is taking advantage of this to go across the river. You know, a lot of us are. You know, maybe the plot will thicken here. No, the idea of Cao Cao kicking off and having his emperor's seat over there is very funny. Not least because the Curse of the Yellow River is still in full effect, and although it would be infuriating, we would, well, no, that'd actually be to the worst, because we would beat up on him so bad over here that he would abdicate. It'd be terrible to win, after all. And on the other front, Gongsun-san is now protected by the King of Korea's work there. Like, you stay out of this, buddy.
但还能接受。
Saimao's lands are all kinds of stuff far flung. Looking like a migration campaign for him. Sun Ce lost on the river. It's like he gets a bit for being like a neutral place or something, maybe, and then he immediately goes back into a place where we control. Like, what's going on here? What are you... Oh, we're at war with this guy? Oh, well, that's why he's sieging from across the river here. Smart. Single turn to upgrade. It's so amazing. It's just crazy. 2 turns to go from 7 to 8. Like, Guo Jia said he only needed a little bit of time. Admin building's kicking off. Looks like Cao Hong, maybe, yeah, Yang Yi is going to the defense of the Imperial City, which is a behavior of vassals that I think is awesome, right? You know, it might seem like, oh, it's kind of annoying they're clumping and not doing anything, but what they're doing is defending the city, you know. And if we were somewhat limited and we knew we had vassals that weren't, I mean, they're not going to attack you, right? So, you know, this would let us go and do a thing, but we have to defend the river, obviously. We have to defend the river.
为天下黎民，此计着实难行。
And then this guy most invisibly gets kicked.
今日此胜，乃承天之恩泽。 都是为各自信念而
Wait, why'd
战
you
罢。
release him?
这就去办。
This guy was invisible. We were supposed to get rid of him. He's a wizard. That's only okay when we do it.
出发。回家的感觉真不错。
大人有何贵干？愿闻大人之志。
To
在下定当赴汤蹈火，
It's too
不
bad
辞
about the
万难。
Koreans. Yeah, you know, if they weren't invisible, they would be so much more fun to get a hold of. But they are quite invisible.
快点！
居安思危，
But
未雨
it's
绸
time
缪。
to give them the orders And in the spring of 213, they'll be able to set out on
大
their
人召
expedition.
我，荣幸之至。
一统山河。
I'm like, do we bring Xing Daorong up here? He is, after all, the Grand Commandant. They don't like each other. Actually, they do get along now, huh? You know, it would be. Xing Daorong needs to go there. Oh yeah, because this is like the principal go and get this done thing. Yeah, so he should be there with them, right? You are quite right. Because he can name like a general in chief if something big happens down here. You know, he doesn't have to lose his excellency position. You know, but it would be, you know, proper for him to go and take care of it. You know, there's plenty of capable people here.
聚气凝神。
He is the hapless heir, but he is not our heir. He is just hapless. Quite elusive, resourceful, and lame. I mean, look at this guy.
落叶就像生命中最后的火焰。
That's a lot of factions to work for, buddy.
拿起武器。
Oh no.
我的目标十分明确，做好准备。
While they're organizing, the indomitable flame of the Zhanbei is coming down to deal with the threat. Oh, that was clever indeed. You know, I had hoped that he would continue throwing his forces against ours there, but you know. "
正气如火，熊熊不息。
A group of local heroes who were fishing. You have a bodyguard. You don't need all that. "
恪守职责，开战！
Let me see him come up here to the Wu Pass. All right. Well, let's see you come up here against Liu Xie. Come get some. You know, you won't. Anyway, he is getting cleverer.
志行天下。 每一步都颇具智慧。 一统天下。 保持原样，为天下黎民一战，释放怒火吧！我之所在，
All right.
正在行进。
Liu Dai will show up in March to help out. The two-faced
消
charlatan
灭敌
will
军！
be here as well. Do we not have somebody with reach here? Really?
进攻！至柔如水，
Nope, I guess we don't.
以应万变。拿起武器！
That's all right.
我等信念如一，这便是上天的恩赐。他们受的苦也够多了。
Gee, of heavenly mandate, well, you can't go around saying that you have an item like that. First of all, it's supposed to be unique, and I already have one, and I think having two would be nice. Liu Mao, you're 54. You're too old to be like, oh, I didn't know what I was doing. Indeed, Stargazer, indeed.
心神合一，咫尺可得。
时刻备战。 我的传承必将归于荣耀。
Shu Hong gets to level 9. Oh, yeah, so he did. I feel like that's just bad for him, but fine for King Menghuo. Which, of course, can only be good for us, right?
很荣幸。
After all, he likes us. And what could ever be bad about having just one tribe ruling all that land? Yeah, it's a Liu Chong campaign, but we restored the Han. So that's why, you know, it is Liu Chong. We have the fortitude buff. We have the trophy cabinet, which will never be never be full or filled.
挽弓欲射，
But
则屏息凝神。
you know, I feel Fei, you know, like the hand of death is upon him. But at least, no, we shouldn't eulogize him just yet. Maybe he'll live for another 50 years. But at least at least he'll know that his task, you know, of setting things to rights with these imperial relative traitors, you know, that he didn't leave it undone. I don't know, I got a bad feeling about his future. Sinmotion, yeah.
唯有胜利方能开创未来。
Says the Chinese person, you find this amusing. Well, I'm glad. You know, we're telling a great story here. It doesn't go perfectly with how the history went, but it started off super fun. The beginning of this campaign involved us going over, smashing Yuan Shu, and then the Tyrant Dog Zhuo comes over at us, and then we you know, joyously, gallantly defeat him in combat, and then, well, the rest is, well, It's been quite a ride. But I must say that I never say any names properly ever. Menghuo's vassal? Yes, yes, indeed. The mod changes the Han flag, so it looks a little different than perhaps you're used to, but yes. Menghuo's a vassal, and we had Duosi as a vassal as well, but I think he got pushed out. You'll think this is funny too. One of our sons got named Liu Bong by the game. One of our sons, our only son. Our beloved son and heir. Alright. We just need to go to the winter. Why do I have such a bad feeling about this? Mulu, I believe Mulu's been eliminated. I'm not sure whose banner he is fighting under. There's Dai Lai there. He is, of course, fighting for Menghuo. Yeah, no, I haven't seen hide nor hair of Mulu in a little bit of time. He's got a very recognizable portrait, right? Nope, not sure where he is. Say normally just killed them and conquered the lands. You know, it's so inconvenient going over there. It's so inconvenient going over there. I did have a Liu Bei campaign where we migrated over to Shu very early, as early as we could, and then spent a super long time fighting the Nanman just forever. But anyway, what were we doing? We were ending the turn. We were...
时刻备战。 大人亲临，士气大振。
If we send the prince home to... I'm like, no, don't... We're not worrying about whether or not his retinue goes to somebody else. It's time for him to go home to Chen. Our boys did their work. Liu Dai can see to these stragglers.
大人有何打算?
And the oath-sworn Luo Jun, Zhu Huang, and Liu Chong ride their horses through the autumn to get home to Chen before the winter, canonically before the winter, and get to spend a little bit of time, you know, with the beauty of Chen here in the autumn of 212. You can ride a horse a really, really long way, really fast. Your 7k per round can create a new army just for that. Oh yeah, well we've got a lot of retinues already sort of set up and in the bank. What we're doing now, you'll love this, it's a great idea, is we're sending like a unified group, we're sending a group of various tribespeople. We've got Zhanbei and Di and Wuhuan representatives, you know, we've got, so we're going to send all of them to the north and have them take over the steppes, and what could go wrong? Also, our version of the Emperor is very superstitious about the river, which is why we can't go across the river. And why we're going on a quest with our Yellow Turban wizard to cleanse the source, which is going to happen in the spring of 213, not right now. And Lu Bu's gonna go, of course. His daughter is the Empress, but because he has to protect the Dong Li and Dong Bai sisters, the Dong family singers there, because of, well, the events that happened with their father and mother, who Liu Chong executed. Canonically, Liu Ji, the advisor, not Liu Ji, the wife. I can't say the names right. Anyway, it doesn't matter. 40k, doing well. Let's just get to the winter. Big money, no whammies. But yeah, 37 per round. We've got something like 30 vassals. Alright, time to brawl. Oh no, what? Oh no. Alright. Don't worry, guys. We're just gonna reload real quick. It's fine. This is why I don't play... I'm not a man of iron, okay? We forgot to go inside of the city, so it kicked us outside. You know, because when you recruit in a city, you muster outside of it. And, well, the towers were pretty important to the plan. Alright, one more time with feeling. Wait, what? Come on now. Really? Whatever, that's dumb. Apparently, it musters them so far out that they literally can't stand inside the city. I've never seen that. I thought they always let you walk in. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're not just gonna have them die for it, though. Moreover, we actually might be able to defend using the towers if they attack it, and we would not have won that field battle. Actually, we don't have any spears? We don't have spears or cavalry, well... That's alright, we can fast forward it. You know, at least they have the dignity to stand up here and get shot. Yes, turn your backs. You are very brave. It's like that scene in Braveheart. I mean, it's not exactly like that scene in Braveheart. There's some subtle differences. So we'll just get arrow fire here and here. Because with a whole lot of concentration of archery fire... Oh no, they're getting the tower. Well, that's not so good. You know, we're fighting a little bit too far back, huh? But they're not engaging on this front at all, which is good because we've removed all of the resources from that side. But still, if we can get this front done, you know, we might actually be able to do it. I say that. Well, I mean, they don't have that good of weapons. We just need to hit the armored archers here. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, so like if we all shoot at the armored archers, then they'll run away, and then we'll be able to... No, like, are we engaged? Like, why are we losing like this? I guess their archers plus the archer militia are good enough to get it, but we're just going to try to back up here a little bit. No reason to be in terrible shape here. There we go. Now they're shattered. They had very decent morale, right? Oh my goodness, they ran out front to chase them. You know, guard mode only goes so far, right? They're gonna get through this front so bad when they do. Well, you know, we don't even really have a follow-up to this. I just didn't want to give it away for free. And they got deflection right now, so we should just take these shots. Here and here. And then here, our very bold flanking attack worked, right? The veteran saber infantry just charge out to catch them in the rear there as they tried to make their way in. You know, they fought boldly and bravely, even if the rest of our forces are a bit of chumps. You know, it actually works super well, right? Yeah, look at them go. Like, if we get onto the point, can we take the tower back? I would much desire the tower to come back. Alright, here we go like so. And then they get a very crucial pop there on. But you know we're still visible, but maybe the towers will shoot them some, right? Still a spirited defense. And the cavalry, you know, because here, if we can keep on shooting the people in the back as they try to face these saber infantry, you know, that's something. And here, we moved on to the tower with the archers, and that gives us enough guys on the point to hold on to it, and then... Right? Ah, yeah, there we go. And then on this front, the amazing flank continues to be amazing. Although, of course, one must wonder how long it can hold on. These heavy G infantry could take this, but we're gonna shoot them up, and yeah, they won't get the tower actually. I'm just gonna charge into him here. We don't want to lose this tower, right? We do want to keep the tower. Bum 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 bum. You know, if they're gonna charge us, we're gonna charge them right back. You know, we have a lot of archers, so even with the 35 charge bonus, you know, it's still something. And this flank actually appears to have been very crucial. We need to not charge in here, though. Get on him here. Attack here. Are we doing this? You know, I actually think we maybe are. But, you know, it could all fall in a moment, because, well, Liu Xie is dropping, and now we're going to be able to take this tower. I think we did it. Yeah, look at me go. I'm the best. The brave defenders of Luoyang. A heroic victory indeed. You know, we don't need to save this one to remember what happened here. I mean, for the Chronicle, you know, we'll remember. Yes, indeed. Somebody is getting promoted for that. Alright, so we've got sentinels and we've got archers here, so we'll find somebody and we'll figure out who's responsible for that amazing defense. It won't be one of those three that didn't show up. They were fishing, and we expected, you know, with the three of them inside, obviously that would have been doable. Such good work. Such good work out of our garrison there. Wonderful stuff. It's like prepares is doing a lot of work in the video title, right? Peace? Oh no, I don't think so, buddy. It's insulting you would even ask. Matong has lost a horse pasture up there. Should be a sentinel from the flanking unit, yeah. Yeah, that flanking move was absolutely what made it work. Because it turned a lot of their shielded units away, including the Xiongnu cavalry, where our archers were able to hit them in the back. And, of course, it opened up a flank. You know, a huge blob fight is fine for the guys in the blob, but if there's something on the other side that's not good, it really adds up. Wonderful stuff. So Xian, this faction is no more, leaving one less battle warrior on the battlefield of history. They may be remembered, or their very name may be consigned to oblivion. Dongli has a son. And now the Emperor is friends with his Prime Minister after all this time. Bum, bum, bum. Are we saying that it's him and that he was just around? After all, he hasn't had a job in the 6 years that he's worked for us. We'll work it out. Or forget, yeah, the promotion event would be the ideal. Or a go and find candidates thing. Admin offices going nuts. Liu Yang will be in Imperial City soon, and public order here is so strong that we'll just go to the maximum level of taxation. Making 3,700 from Liu Yang. Not bad at all. It's winter, he's not dead. Ah, yes! Hooray!
稍事休息。无礼至极。朋友，别来无恙。战争迫近，我绝不退缩。
And we have directed Meng Huo to make this fella a priority.
智略所指，我之所在。快去！
I tried to get fitting in for him if he didn't, indeed. But I always wanted him to get to go home. Not least because in the poetry that my theoretical characters are theoretically writing, Zhuge Pian becomes an accomplished poet, right? And a lot of the themes of her work is interpreting these events that have happened through here and like putting ourselves in the shoes, you know, of Liu Chong and stuff for the stories, and you know their big hits is poetry, which is probably why Liu Xie named the kid Liu Zhuge. You know, because she liked the poem so much. It's crazy. It's crazy to do that. It's totally the kind of thing she would do. She'd be like, well, if he won't divorce you, then...
为了天下大业。
Look at that flotilla! I mean, who knows where they're going, but they are thinking about going. Hu Chuan, you're a great guy. Shu Chu, you could have joined me, and if you did, you'd be more than level 3, I'll tell you that, buddy. Alright, it's two turns and we're broke. Okay. Well, in the spring we will muster the armies. And so much the better that the winter is spent more or less in contemplation. Oh yeah, Sun Xian is gone. Well, that's of course the next hook for the Empress and her totally reasonable behaviors. Let's see if any of the other Suns show up after this, right? Because we're just gonna have to keep an eye now. Oh, we didn't move forward far enough. Well, you know, the thing is that army, having just been beaten by the garrison, is certainly in no shape to be beating the garrison again.
你自找的。
Oh, I was like, the Cao family? Oh, yeah. You know, they are very beat up. Oh, this is us. Yeah, this will represent us, like, beating their reinforcements that were trying to come on the river. Because they're on the other side of the river, but... Had half my... Yeah. You know, maybe we should have, too. It could be that the Emperor is going to get mad and think that this counts. But no, this just represents... We're just, like, shooting trebuchets over the river at him, right? I would still like to get him.
放他们回家去吧。
Guanjing, we captured you shortly ago, and now you still will not join us.
人人得而诛之。
But yeah, we shot our, you know, across a place where the river is thin. We were shooting our trebuchets and stuff to support the flank. You know, devastating artillery from the fine mathematical mind of Lady Hu. Hey, Huangong got some land again. Look at him go. Yeah, I think the problem with Song now, right, is he, having taken losses across the river, is wary of throwing good money after bad. But what he has done is say, I'm going to attack Matung. I'm going to attack over in Korea. I'm going to attack across the river at Hongnong. What does that do, right? Oh, Ma Teng died to winter. Ma Chao takes over. And Liu Zhong's faction is destroyed. The Prince of Qin lives to see all of the principal traitorous imperial relatives slain. And though Liu Yu is still, you know, in vassalage to the Kingdom of Song, it's a whole different context. We could still think that maybe he should have, you know, tried to flee or something. Or fought. But it's a whole different thing than him being in a safe place of his own and declaring war against us, right? Chupan is taken out by time. Zhang Yong is taken out. Alright, so we'll have to see if he's in the pool, right? We know that he was long a loyal servant. It looks like he's not there, but Liu Ting, the Blossom of Chengdu, now joins us. She's from Liu Zhong's fractured faction. You know, we faced her once and spared her once. faction council. Oh, they're making me do a choice between population and set items. No, we'll take this because the set item probably wouldn't work. All right, we will raid the bay. We will. Mark and actively track Choco. No, we will, Okay, there is an event. Barbarian raids from the Xian Bay. Oh, but that's just looters, right? It was the individual place. I didn't recognize it as the province name in Wu Wei. There you go. Oh, they might be willing to spy, given that we didn't mind personally. Oh yes. Changyan, you rogue.
坚如盾牌，势如利刃。
It would be a really silly way to end the quest for the seal, indeed. I think the funniest thing that could happen, right, would be for Sun Jian to join up with Cao Cao. Because we have already established that Liu Xie is just going to beeline attack anyone that has it. It's got like an aura, like a video game. She holds the left trigger and she's like, wait, is that the seal? Chen Su levels up, good for him. Diao Chan levels up, good for her. It's like she was a spy, right? But yeah, she's definitely a spy. You know, she'll be happy for a while. Maybe she'll unspy herself. It's like, that reminds me.
荣耀等着我们。
满怀信念，奋力一战。
我已归来，百姓是否安好？
The year is 213, and the Prince Liu Chong has returned home with his friends. Less needed in the reserve for daring defense of the capital. Yeah, well, you know, we just have to see. Just have to see where the seal's gonna end up. Macho's pretty clearly. Yeah, I mean, he's having a terrible time. Because, too, we know from experience that as soon as you start sending your armies into Shuofeng, now it's taking you a whole year to adjust to what goes wrong, you know? Because it's 2.5 seasons to get from one settlement to the next. So if you have to turn around, that's a whole year you've torched. Yeah, starting to lose on all fronts is not here. But yeah, there's no telling when Ma Chao's going to afford some Qiang Marauders for his own stack.
此地岂容你胡闹！
Yeah, speaking of, do we have any trees with this fool? No, because we just took like a... That's right, because I misclicked and we just took a straight piece. Negative 17.5. You know, I honestly think we're going to make him abdicate without crossing the river. But of course, if we keep on helping people beat his armies, of course that'll happen.
原地候命。人们蜂拥而至，赶来此郡。
Of course she gets along with Lady Hu. Of course she does. You know, and that... Doesn't that just make it... You know, I mean, what are you gonna do, right? The computer does not want Lady Hu to scheme. They'll just have to settle for giving her bad ideas. Could do Huangjong here to just get tied in, but if we do that, then we need to swap her retinue to be in, like, full arty, right? Which may not be a bad idea anyway.
秩序井然，则四海可敌。
He? Oh, there he is. I'm like, I just missed him. Okay, there we go.
立刻群敌。
So we send him with Han Xian. Of course, they've been traveling together anyway.
千层波浪，充实巨。
You know, because he has to oversee and make sure that the wizard is safe, you know. Vegeta go... That's the thing, though, because the seal had been obsessing her. Liu Xie going would be nice. Yeah.
春之所赐。
Because, you know, we're going with, like, an army with infantry and stuff. It's not just, like, a straight cavalry force where we're going. So it's not like we wouldn't be able to get word, you know. Or, like, have an important dream. This is absolutely a time when having an important dream could be appropriate, right? Interesting story beat for her to been. Yeah, exactly. Like Dark Angels in Warhammer, right? Where they're like doing something very important and then they get distracted by a thing and from the past. Like, oh well, I gotta go do the thing. Well, anyway, and of course she gets along with him. My girl, she gets along with everybody. Spear guards we really don't need here. I think we just go for, like, more royal guard for Our Lady the Empress, right? Because Azure Dragons fill the heavy G thing there, and this army is very much going to be, you know, with other armies pretty frequently. Really, I just want the Royal Guard to be on the same part of the thing, but these heavy G infantry are not called for with Xing Daorong's force, so yeah, why not? Why not the Royal Guard? We'll keep the Marines, you know, they've been with us. The Royal Guard, you know, I guess they've got spears too, so this just represents them putting down the long G and taking up, you know, the spear and shield. The Spear Guard doing it too, yeah. You know, it would have been much better if they had gotten to level 6 before we started this, right? Because then they would have been able to bring more of... This is the Chong up here, and we can't get to the D unless we're over here. That's like pretty far. Well, I mean, he can... Yeah, they don't all have to meet up at one time, right? Yeah, so he can go here and get, you know, at least some of his guys, even if they won't be the coolest ones. You know, his bonus is to melee dudes anyway, but, you know, when you're going on a quest, gotta bring your representatives. Because if he was level 6, he could get cataphracts and stuff, but he's not going to get level 6 before we go. But, you know, we're just gonna... We're swapping them over, right? Because there's going to be an army of horsemen representing the horsemen. And those guys, we weren't so married to the idea of having them on there anyway. He returns home and gets together 200 hand-picked cavalry. And he'll be able to zoom up before too long. Oh, that's not the button I wanted to pick. It's fine. Did it cancel? I was like, I don't know why I was on that screen. Alright, yeah, it didn't even happen. They allow you the misclick. We don't want to drop the Wuhan defenders here, but I guess we could just get... I mean, we don't want to drop them. They're her trademark, and they're, you know, they've been like her guard the whole time. But she has to go, and she has to be in the army with him anyway. I mean... we'll just swap the axe band for something when we get up there. It'll be fine. You can't just drop the race block. Indeed. You know, it's not like we're going to drop the Zhongnu cataphracts or noble cavalry from... you know, Yufalo. Got to keep what keeps you you. And they don't have opinions about each other one way or the other, and that's just fine with me. And anyway, you do want some infantry in a block like that anyway, right? Because a very, very heavy cavalry block does want some infantry to hold stuff still for it. It can be very stressful if you're dealing with 1,000 guys with spears and you don't have anybody with a sword and a shield to hold them still. But anyway, we've prepared the invasion. It's like, is Chogo fighting these other people? No. He's fighting me, but he doesn't have an agreement with them. And of course, they don't take military supply hits until they get into the sea over here. Oh, teaching assignment, that's right. He's got that. You're real good here, huh? Bum, ba-da-dum. And we'll counteract the corruption here. Can we afford that satisfaction-wise? Yeah. Because for every counteract corruption, you just need to roll one filial and then corrupt. Nubu marches down to meet the Grand Commandant. He's nervous, right? Because the last time he saw the Grand Commandant, he made him aware of the existence of Dongbai and Dongli and sent a huge sum of money to the Emperor and was just kind of nervous. And now this army is here, and then who does he see but his beloved daughter? They have not seen each other in 16 years. And Lubu thought she was dead this whole time. It is a joyous reunion. You know, she tells him all about his grandchildren, and he agrees that they are very good names. She explains the quest they're on, and he grins and said, "Oh, well, I guess we can go on that too." A wonderful time. Look at him smiling there. What a happy guy. He's the warrior without equal. Yeah, guess what? I am the Empress. We named him Liu Bong. And Lubu just starts laughing, like the loudest laugh anyone's ever laughed. One day all of this is gonna be his. who just picks her up and swings her around. 53 years old and a proud grandfather. A wonderful time, and of course, she explains she's been trying to find the seal a lot and couldn't find it. He looks at her and says, "You look different." She starts laughing. Of course, she lost her eye a long time ago. It's hard to tell if she is winking or blinking at people. No side of Lydion, indeed. But yeah, so I guess story-wise, right, we'll probably have Xiahou Dun being the one who takes her eye out, or she loses it in the furor at Chang'an, right, and sort of like has to find her way out. But I think it's more fun for Xiahou Dun to have done it, because we execute him way earlier than all of this in the story without knowing that, you know, he had done that to her, so. But maybe not. We have to work on it. Yeah, I lost it there. It's better there, right? It's better to do that than have the other event. But because when she loses the halberd, that could be a whole other story, right? You know, when the other thing, because that has to happen there. I just have to figure out if she was trying to steal the halberd back whenever she ended up with the horse, or if we're canonically going to keep it that Chen Ding did bring us the horse. That's Guo Jia. We need an army on him pronto. We got a big old grudge with that man. I think it's more entertaining for Chen Ding to have taken the horse. Yeah, you know, I like that too. Plus, you know, spread out the glory, right? You don't need to overload one person with all the cool stuff. Especially when she's your best girl and everybody already knows that you're biased. Yep, you know that. Maybe that one horse got him his job in the first place, for all you know. You know, the giving of gifts to garner favor is a time-honored tradition. You know, basically everyone in the council gets along with basically everyone in the council, except the Emperor, who only gets along with half of the people. I mean, it was mainly the new half that he likes, but, you know, there's just, you know, there's something about Chicken Rib Guy, Minister of Justice, but he's doing his job well. And here, rather than wait for the completion of it, I think he's going to be named Minister of Ceremonies and sent out, right? Yeah, it's like the only time in my life where I cared about the harmony. Whenever I was selecting people, I'm like, oh, but the Emperor doesn't like him. Of course, sometimes it's like, you know, Xu Huang, where it's like, the Emperor doesn't like him, but clearly he has so much respect that it doesn't matter much. Alright, well. Coin minting, reduce corruption again. You know, we're finally getting some of our income back, right? Because that's down to 40%. Of course, that's with anti-corruption stuff and the people in power and the technology and a couple of the buildings probably affecting it. Probably not a lot yet, but a couple of them. But, and then, you know, In next year, we'll be able to begin work on the Imperial Palace. And a lot of other buildings besides, you know, we are making a lot of food from farming. But more work can always be done. Well, anyway, that's all we've got for you right now. We're going to call it a night since it's midnight 45. It's hardly excessive to do so.
质如流水.
Not a great building, the palace. Yeah, you know, the income percentage is like theoretically. See, the thing about it is that by the time you get that, do you really need it? There's a lot of stuff like that in a game, right? It also does give you an administrator, which is, I mean, that's good. The 100 prestige, when would it ever matter? I mean, could you even get a building to level 10? I mean, you could. Because I guess if you just go yellow line, if you just go yellow line to rush Mandate of Heaven, and then you get an Imperial Palace, I mean, you could probably get most of the way there. If you're playing like Lu Bu, that's all you would need to do. Selling an admin is also really meaningless. Yeah, pretty poor. Does it change like title salary as well? Because then I guess if you gave him a really huge title, you could discount that, which would be worth a few hundred at most, which is, you know, sure. If it gave you retinue upkeep on the administrator, you know, to represent that the place was giving you all that you needed to replace everything. Well, there we have it.
保持原样。
Haha, this fool's in March. But the revenue's already freezing its race. That's right, yeah, you
乃
know.
是大义之胜。
Maybe it should be like reduces recruitment or redeployment cost of their retinue by 100% if it's in the area. Well, that should just be on an admin building anyway. Okay, yeah. Okay. Alright, Lucian, you have to be executed because you left the Han Empire to go to Song. This was like the little vassal empire, but still,
我们可养
you know,
不起他们。
that happened in the middle of the war. You can't be having that.
对他们严加处罚，恐怕颇为不易。
Lucian. I think he only gets spared because Sun Bin is here.
把俘
Who
虏放回去吧
remembers。that once he was spared and then was able to come in. Throws him on the horse and slaps the horse on the rump and says, "Don't make us have this talk
Follow
again."
齐心协力，我绝不动摇。做好准备。
A bandit going up into this region, it's just so blood pressure engaging. You're like, why are they the way they are? Anyway.
心境澄澈，天下庶几可定。
There's the end of spring, or nearly so. Shibai was the guy who got promoted due to the amazing defense of Hongnong there, so it is only fitting that we get him into the battlefield here. Do we want... Yeah, why not? His veteran saber infantry. Oh, indeed. You know, before you even said it, we gave him a couple. Yeah, even if they were, yeah. And they are a good unit. You know, they are. Yes, we gave him 2 of them. A couple of diehard warriors. Which, you know, they're not from here. You know, it would have been better if we would have given him the warriors of the Western Guardian or whatever. But, you know, maybe later. Give him some of this silly.
此为苍生黎民之天下，非暴虐诸侯之天下。
The boys are back in town. Speaking of, you know, I guess the next season is when the Emperor is going to send a truckload of gear to our boys here, and Imperial up their retinues. But the brave children growing up, Liu Lin, you know, he's an outsider. He was the one who was going to be the heir, and now he's not anymore. And, you know, Liu Xie, he's going to be the prince, so Liu Lin doesn't know what he's going to do. I already got a hook for him, though, storytelling-wise. Because his name, you know, Lin, one of the characters that's Lin is like forest, right? I looked it up. Y'all know I don't know these languages. But it's like 2 trees, like the icon, ideogram, whatever. The character for tree, 2 of them, for Lin is what I'm imagining his name is. So I was like, did they do bonsai back then in China? I don't know, probably offending somebody with that question. But I want to give him a little tree, and that can be his thing, you know, and he'll just like carry the tree around. Because I was hearing the story about whatever psychotic region it was that like had some pet rabbits, and a dude like fell on his rabbit and the rabbit died, so he like murked like a whole bunch of people from that guy's country in addition to the guy himself. Just real excessive stuff.
心如止水，气聚神宁。主公召我。
Like, do we just drop this army here? No, because he has to go and hit Guo Jia.
战乱，正在行进。
It's like I'm staring at the map pins on these turns. I'm like, where is he gonna go? What's he gonna do? Oh. Ma Teng shows up and he says, by the way, Han Zhen is intolerable. Or Ma Chao does, anyway. He's like, my father was friends with his father. We don't have to care about that. I see you have these armies, and anyway, I want to declare war on him very much. And I'll say, yeah, sure, whatever, buddy. He's even going to give me a horse. Again, you know, paying vassalage really hurts people. I mean, not me, but them. Liu Yin has come of age. Yeah, this is somebody else's kid, right? But man, did he ever look interesting. Alright, and now Liu Xie takes Ganmei's. And there, the Lady of the Elephants becomes loyal. Oh yeah, should we send her on the quest? It's just they don't know how to budget around paying tribute, yeah. It's not just that it takes the money, it's that they constantly overextend and then have to correct for it. Well, anyway, it's the summer of 213, and we are preparing to go. We're gonna be rolling up there. The vertiginous quake will show up before too long, and you know these with these armies together, I'm sure that we can handle some problems, right? Even if we keep the odd Shanbei horse archer in there for the meme. I mean, because they are his unit. In the last campaign, you kept giving him money. Yeah. It's like here, it's like, well, if we just give Taishitsi, you know, $2,000 every couple of years, you know, but I don't mind doing it, you know. He's such a good guy, a trusted friend. We want this land, don't we? Oh, we can't trade him Shu because Ba's in the way there. Anyway, I have to go to bed. I said it, it's even true. You know, the Empire, long united, must stay united. You know, I don't mind that the South is this, like, ridiculous thing. It's actually pretty interesting, right? How you interacting with a single faction in this game can have such big effects strategically to other people. Us beating down Cao Cao and then subjugating them allowed Yuan Shao to really kick off, right? Because if we just stayed out of it, they would have been at each other's throats. Better for us to handle the plot for the South to remain balkanized, paying money. Indeed. If it was a whole bunch of peacefulness there and then everywhere else, well, drives things forward a bit too much. The dream is for Meng Huo to unify all the non-men, right? And then become very strong and declare war on me. Did you hear Guo Jia still has trans to Hong by the time Wong Wong came over to administrate it? That was, wow, that's a long time. Anyway, we're not going to build the buildings. We're not going to do anything. Going to bed. Otherwise, who knows how long it'll go. Anyway, that's all you get from me right now. I'm off in the morning. You know, I work tomorrow afternoon, but we might play this. Might be something else. been eyeing a couple of things in the old Steam library. Perhaps we'll play one of them. But anyway, it's your boy, the Emperor. Things are good, you know. Things are good here in the 6th year of rule of the reign of the Issue. The Emperor Xian. We even got a little heir. What a nice guy. Can we see? These are just star characters. I'm like, can we see? Can we see where he is right now? Can we see where he is? Alright, I said I was ending, and I am, but we don't know where he is. He's somewhere out there, taunting me. But anyway, that's all I've got for you tonight. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. As far as we can tell, he's sitting in the pool. If he ends up with you in Chao, well, that will just validate all of our suspicions. But it'll be a bit annoying for Liu Xie, who... You know, the Emperor's edict barring people from crossing the river might be the one thing she doesn't want to break. Or, what if she breaks it? How upset would he get? But, anyway, that's all I've got for you right now. Good night, Luke. Good night, everyone. Good night, Stargazer. It's nice to see you. Maybe we'll see you guys later on. I'll be around, so au revoir.